Hi guys. Okay, thank you for stopping by again. In this episode, we are going to be talking about what the government just said recently. The federal government has made a shocking discovery of sponsors of the Boko Haram, the bandits, and the president. From the presidency. This was announced yesterday, and they have continued to say that okay, they are beginning to get headway on who the sponsors are of these terrorist groups, these bandits, and all those that have been terrorizing the community and different states in the country. So, but we hope that this is true because the government has said that okay, now they have begun to make arrests. They've arrested some people, and they're even hinting that some politicians might be involved, and then some bureau de change, the people that change money, might also be involved, in helping these bandits to transfer money, to move money from places like the United Arab Emirates, where the guys send money from, where money is being sent from. And also, so some information are getting out, though they have not actually fully stated who and who is involved, but they just hinted. So we are still waiting to know what the government is going to say more, if they are going to say, who and who is actually involved. But right now, they said everything is still under wraps because they are still investigating, they are still making arrests. So when it is done, those names will be published. But what I want to pick out from this statement or from this news is the fact that Boko Haram has been operating for quite a few number of years now, maybe up to 5 or 6 years or thereabout. I mean, right from the times of Goodluck Jonathan, they've been operating, and also the bandits just started operating during this tenure, which is a Buhari regime, and these things have been going on for some times, and we've had past military chiefs, the defense staffs, and all of that working tirelessly to stop this, to curtail it, to fight it, and they've not been able to find out who the sponsors are. They've not been able to find out how to nip this in the bud. The amount of money the government said is allocating for defense, for military equipment, they buy fighter jet, they buy tracking, they buy GPS, and all those things. Things still, the Boko Haram is still winning, kind of winning the war, and it's kind of shameful to think that a mere terrorist group. I mean, I'm using the word mere terrorist group because I don't want to give them so much credibility, accountability or credibility. So a mere terrorist group is actually tormenting the whole country, and a country that has battalions, different, you know, barracks all around the country filled with military guys, military gadget, equipment, logistics, and everything. They are not able to defeat this small sect of people, this small set of terrorists that have been terrorizing the country for so many years. And it has been narrowed down to Borno, I mean, some time ago, but right now I think it has spread to other states. But that Sambisa area and all of that, they know this place, they know where this thing is happening, but yet it has not been stopped. Now, when you hear those things, when you see it, and when you look at it critically, you start wondering what exactly is happening. We've had people that come online, people that come to TV stations, big channels to talk about how this thing is actually politicized, how politicians are actually involved in what is happening, in this terrorist group, and how they are being sponsored by some top politicians. But nobody's actually mentioning name. I think people are still afraid. Maybe people that have the right information are still afraid, and a lot of people don't know because I think maybe they are well crafted, and so they don't know who and who is actually involved. But it's actually something that when you look at it, you say, actually, there are people sponsoring these guys because these guys, when you see them, I mean, they don't look as if they have that money to buy those equipment. They don't. They don't. A lot of them don't even speak good English. So, I mean, how do they go to Turkey? How do they go to all those places to buy the equipment? Someone is sponsoring this thing, and someone is actually sending them this equipment. I mean, we saw a video one time of some guys in the bush. They made a video saying about how the government actually gave them weapons and things like that. We don't know if that's true or not, but if you see the amount of weapons these guys have, man, I saw it. I was, well, I say shaking. I don't want to say shaking because I don't want to be saying that I was moved by that, but I was kind of disturbed because this equipment were high grade equipment, high grade equipment. Look at the caliber of guns. Man, when I saw that, I was kind of wow. How did this happen? How did you get here? So there are a lot of people sponsoring these guys. So if the government will do a good work, now they've changed the service chiefs. Kudos to the president for actually, responding to what people want. People have been clamoring for change of those service chiefs for a long time. These guys have been in power, they have been in control, and yet no solution has been found over the years. And they are still repeating the same guys. Why don't you try a different hand? What about if these guys have become so accustomed to their method that they don't know all the new strategies or the nuances to find out new strategies on how to tackle this issue? Why don't you use a new hand? Why don't you use someone that is fresh? Why don't you use someone that doesn't, assume things because they already know it, because they've seen it before? Rather, they will, explore new avenues to try to tackle this. But thank God, eventually the president has responded and he has changed the service chiefs. Although he gave them new appointment, which people are not actually happy about. He gave them new appointment to different countries and to different places like that, which still keeps them in power, keeps them in the system of money. But the important thing is that new guys have been put in place, new service chief, defense, and all of that. And now they are saying they are beginning to get new leads. Now we are happy to hear that. But we actually want action. We actually want to see the action. We actually want to see it in action that, okay, the guys involved have been caught, the guys have been arrested, and they've been prosecuted. And then we see the crime rate drop. Because until that crime rate drop, it will be as if this is just all the shamble of politics, trying to paint a good image that they are working and they are not actually working. So until we see the crime rate drop, then people will start believing, okay, maybe these people are actually telling the truth. But for right now, a lot of people don't actually have confidence in what the government is saying about tackling this Boko Haram. I mean, we've heard several times when the government said, okay, that they've killed the leader. They've killed a very big, a top personnel, a top commander, and but still, the guys are still working. The guys are still bombing. They're still killing people. And the one for bandit is even crazy. In fact, I can't begin to go into the bandit issue. The way they kidnap people randomly, even after paying them, for the people that they kidnap, they release that people and they kidnap another set of people. It's still demanding millions, 600 million, 800 million. I'd be like, what are these guys doing with all this money in the bush? Because these guys are practically based in the bush. How are they spending that money in the bush? So if you look at it critically, you want to agree with me that those guys, the main guys that are actually collecting that money, are not in the bush. You can't be holding 800 million naira in the bush. What are you doing with it? No electricity, no light, no road, no water. What are you spending money for? What are you looking for? What do you need the money for in the bush? So the guys that are actually spending that money, they're actually having access to that money, they're actually sponsoring it, are actually in the town living very expensive and lavish life. And with that money, they are getting more equipment, they are getting more ammunitions, and they continue to fight the country and fight the citizens. So let's hope and see, and let's pray that the government is actually saying the truth this time around, and that they are finding the sponsors. Because if they can nip this thing in the bud, if they can get the sponsors and take them out, like arrest them, jail them, and then the logistics will be affected. And if the logistics is affected, those guys will not have the ammunitions and the weapons that they need to continue to fight. So eventually it is going to die down. And that is good for the country. But if those guys are not, arrested or, sentenced to jail or things like that, they will still continue to equip the guys in the bush and they will continue to terrorize. Now, the president, according to the service chief, the president has given order. He said the service chief said, the president has given order that they should take out the leaders. That was a direct order from the president before he traveled. He said they should take out the leaders. He's tired of all these things that is happening. So I think that's a strong word coming from the president, and the service chiefs are kind of taking it to heart. We have the chief of defense staff, General Lucky Irabo, and National Security Advisor, Major General Babangana Mongunu. All of them are taking it to heart, and they are putting the effort to see that they take out the leaders of this. And if they are able to take out the leaders, the sponsors, and all the bandits, the kidnappers, then maybe peace can return to the country. Then maybe we can start worrying about other things that are worrying us. Because right now, a lot of things are people are worrying about finance, they are worrying about feeding, they are worrying about jobs, and they're also worrying about their life, even being alive to even get the job, being alive to even worry about the feeding in the first place. So we hope for the best, and we'll keep you updated as soon as we get more info on this. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys, and let me know what you think about it in the comment section. Thank you.